Warm good morning from JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. So, we have started our webinar series on World Breastfeeding Awareness Week from August 1 to August 7th. And yes, we have reached the final day of this webinar. So, today we have Dr. Padmashri, who is heading the Department of Hydrotherapy to enlighten us with the topic on shielding the future, the power of breast milk and immunization. So let's all hear from our doctor. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti. Good morning, everyone. I welcome everyone for the final day of breastfeeding week today. We are going to see about the breast milk and its power of breast milk in the immunization and how it is helpful for the infants for the development of immune system in the body. And this is a foremost and very important topic at this current period because we are experiencing very number of diseases and every day it is getting higher. Only thing we can do for our body is to create the immunity, and this breast milk is very important for the creation of innate immunity. Yes, we'll get into the topic. So first, breastfeeding can help the newborns to fight off the infection. Often we call these as the baby's first and foremost vaccination. Yes, breast milk is a kind of vaccination which can be naturally get accumulated in the body, and that helps the baby for the creation of immune, and it boosts up the immune and it fights against the diseases which can be possibly caused for the infant. So that we need to understand in detail about the breastfeeding and how much the milk is having the capacity to control the disease. So in detail we are going to see today about the breast milk. Yes, for that we need to understand the stages of breast milk. Yes, there are three stages of breast milk, which is first stage, that is colostrum. This is the first stage of breast milk and it occurs during the pregnancy and it lasts for very few days after the birth of the baby. It is either yellowish, or as you can see in the picture, it will be yellowish or in creamy color. It is also much thicker than the milk that is produced in the later period of the breast milk. This colostrum is high in protein, fat-soluble vitamins, minerals, and immunoglobulins. These immunoglobulins are the antibodies that passes from the mother to the baby and provide passive immunity for the baby. This passive immunity protects the baby from a wide variety of bacterial and viral illnesses. 2 to 4 days after the birth, this colostrum will be replaced by the transitional milk. Yes, transitional milk which is occurs after the colostrum, and this will be lasting approximately for the 2 weeks of period, and this contains a high level of fat, lactose, water soluble vitamin, and it contains a calories same as the colostrum. So it has the proper proportion of carbohydrate, protein, and fat, which is mainly required for the development of the baby. So coming to the final stage of milk. So that is mature milk. This milk is containing about 90% of the water. Why? Because the infant have to be kept in hydrated state. That's why it contains about 90% of the water. Next. So this will be compressed of carbohydrate, protein, and fat that is necessary for both development and the energy required for the infant. There is two types of mature milk, that is fore milk and hen milk. This fore milk is a type of milk that is found during the beginning of the feeding, which contains water, vitamins and minerals. And hen milk, this milk occurs after the initial release of the milk, and it contains the high level of fat which is necessary for the weight gain of the baby. So because of this milk and hind milk, this baby will not face the low birth weight, occurrence of any kind of disease that can occur because of low weight. So coming to the summary of these stages of breast milk, we are coming across colostrum, transitional milk, and mature milk. So colostrum will be occurring at the birth of the baby, which is 2 to 5 days after the birth. Then the baby will be undergoing to the transitional milk, that is 2 to 4 weeks after the birth, and coming to the mature milk, that is the stage which lasts for the years, and that will lead to the involutional milk, which is the secretion will be stopping, and the baby will be slowly the mother will be slowly reducing the secretion, and the body will be revert back to normal. So now we need to understand the development of the newborn's microbiota and mucosal immune system. Throughout the pregnancy, the fetal immune development is mainly supported by these microbial metabolites. Microbial metabolites originated from the maternal microbiota by the dietary components. Inert immune cell stage, only at the birth, the emerging immune system of the newborn it is confronted with the live bacteria, and thus it is still depend on the maternal protection, which is ensured throughout the pregnancy. So, apart from the massive immunization via breast milk, neonatal gastrointestinal epithelial barrier protects against these pathogens and promote the beneficial interplay in the neonatal microbiota. The adaptive immune system in the maize will develop primarily on the component of adaptive immunity which is present in the human fetus. Birth mode, feeding, and intake of antibiotics are the additional factors that shapes the early life of the microbiota and neonatal immune system during the subsequent reaction. The solid food is introduced to the baby. So that time the infant diet will be tremendously occurs in the intestinal bacterial community composition. Consequently, this microbiota is no longer present by bifida of the bacteria and lactobacillus, but increases in metabolic diversity, evolving in more adults like microbiota that is essential during the early period of the life. This period is often called as window of opportunity, and that will be externally cues to the profound impact in the lifelong health and involving in microbiota and mucosal immune system. So we need to understand the milk formulas and the human milk, how it is widely differentiated, and why we are prefer to take the human milk rather than the milk formulas. The protein in the human milk, it is in balanced ratio. That is why we call this breast milk as the gold stand, which is very easy to digest and contains lactoferrin and immunoglobulins, which is very important for the development of the brain of the infant. Whereas in the milk formulas, the protein is typically, that is the cow milk based, which is very hard to digest, and it is also lacks some bioactive components which is present in the human milk. And coming to the fat of human milk, which is highly essential for the fatty acid, including DHA, which is very important for the development of brain. And whereas in milk formulas, the fat added essential fatty acids may not match the human milk quality. And in carbohydrate in human milk is rich in lactose, and it promotes the healthy gut bacteria. Whereas in milk formulas, the carbohydrate content lactose and other carbs, and which is very much lack in the carbohydrate which should be present in the milk. Whereas in human milk, we have the vitamins and minerals which is naturally balanced, bioactive components which which enhances the absorption. Whereas in milk formula, this vitamins and minerals will not be in the proper component and will not be helpful in the absorption. In human milk, the immune factor provides antibacteria, enzymes, and other immune component. Whereas in milk formula, this immune factor does not contain any antibodies or live cells. So coming to the infants' intestinal microbes. So we all know that the infants who are taking breast milk are having the high support and high energy to fight against the allergies. Whereas in the people who are taking these formulas or other mixed diet varieties or say, and the other milk instead of breast milk are having the low potential to fight against the allergies. Why? Because the potential of the breast milk is prevent the allergic diseases by shaping of neonatal gut microbiota. This breast milk contains the microbes as well as the factors that indirectly shape this gut microbiota of the neonate. This breast milk can directly helps in the composition that favors the growth of the bacteria, which is essential for the infants, which is subsequently can impact in the immune development and maturization. This gut microbiota in the early life impacts in the immune maturization via this microorganism associated molecular patterns that signals to the microbiota metabolites such as short chain fatty acids and hydrocarbon receptors. This gut microbiota of the neonate can direct this immune system towards allergies, group 3 inert lymphoid cells, which strengthen the gut bacteria. So also as a result of this shapes the infant's gut microbiota by breast milk. So this directs the immune system towards allergy prevention and transforming these enzymes to the neonate. These potential of the breast milk to prevent allergic diseases by shaping of neonatal gut microbiota. Breast milk contains the microbes as well as the factors indirectly shapes this gut microbiota of the neonate. So this will help in the neonate to fight against the allergies that is possibly can cause in the early stage of the life. So coming to the mucosal associated lymphoid tissues. So here we need to understand the mucosal immunity between the mother and infant, newborn. The migration of the effector B cells. You can see in the this. So that is the B cells from the gut associated lymphoid tissues via lymph and peripheral blood to the lactating mammary gland that distributes these B cells beyond the gut crucial for the local production of breast milk. And these antibodies have the specific for the enteric and airway microorganisms. There is also transformation of organisms and bioactive components from the child to the mother, which is induced response for the mother that is specific for the kid. This is called the two-way path, which is equally responsible for from mother to child and from child to mother. So this will help in the protection of any kind of infection or disease could be caused for the baby, so that it will protect in the two pathways. So coming to the human milk stem cells. So this is the dissemination of breast milk cells throughout the body of nursed infants. The fraction of breast milk in the cells is able to penetrate through the wall of gastrointestinal tract of the intestine. So you can see in the picture, as the breast milk is containing the many amount of these cells and immune cells and other bioactive bacteria from the milk is directly getting enter into the infant's gastrointestinal tract through the wall, the blood capillaries, and that is distributing to the various organs of the infant, like lungs, spleen, liver, bone marrow, and everywhere it will enter in throughout the circulatory system and helps in the development of the organ. So coming to the nutritional component that will help, that is actually present in the breast milk, and how it is helpful for the growth and development, intestinal colonization, immunity development, host immunization, prevention from the disease. So excluding the water content in the breast milk, it comprises about 87 to 88 percentage. The most basic component of human breast milk are macronutrients, so that are mainly composed of carbohydrate, protein, and fats. These macronutrients provides essential nutritional support for the infant growth and development, supplying 65 to 70 kilocalorie of energy per 100 ml of human breast milk. This component is changing dynamically according to the lactation period and nurturing session within the single feeding, become suitable for various needs according to the state of lactation or the children's for the growth. Carbohydrate, which comprised about 7% of the human breast milk, accounts about 40% of the total calorie which received by the infants. The lactose in the main carbohydrate which is present in the human breast milk. This lactose has the high concentration, and that milk especially will reflect in the high energy demand of the human brain. So this also supports the development of the human brain and shows the positive association with infant weight gain. So insufficient lactose may cause lactose malabsorption, but it is relatively rare and exclusively breastfeeded infants. It may occur secondary to the acute disease involving in the small intestine, such as enterics, may affect the infant's growth, which accompanied by the chronic diseases such as intestinal failure. This lactose is also the major contribution of the osmolarity of the human breast milk. From the colostrum to the transitional milk and to the mature milk, the average content of the lactose increases slightly. By maintaining the fair, a constant concentration of the mature milk, human breast milk can maintain this constant osmotic pressure. In addition to this lactose aids the absorption and attached to these bioactive components such as oligosaccharides, minerals, and calcium, which is essential for all the four things, mainly on the growth and development, intestinal colonization, immune development of the infant. So, coming to the potential mechanism through which this breast milk may implied in the brain signaling, which is very important for the development of the cognitive sense of the infant. So, the mammary gland cells produce and releases exosomes into the breast milk. These exosomes are taken up to the infant's intestinal cells and capable to cross the blood-brain barrier that you can see in the picture. So through which the blood-brain barrier, once it enter the brain cells, this exosomes release the cargos, that is RNAs, into the brain. So binding results to the modulation of gene expressions. So interacting with this near protein coding new genes, and it interact may involves in the regulation of nearby genes and the transregulation of these genes in the distinct area will create the protein coding of the genes and helps in the DNA myelination, so that the development of the brain and the cognition part of the brain can be increased through the breast milk, which has the power to transmit in the blood brain barrier and released in the brain, and that will help in the development of the infant. So coming to the long-term cardiovascular mechanism that will be reduced through the breast milk, there is a lot of chance, so many papers, so many systematic reviews, and so many papers have proved that there is long-term cardiovascular disorder could be possibly caused to the infants because of the smaller and thin venules. So, because of this higher systolic and diastolic blood pressure, the heart disease may be having higher chance to occur in the infants. It is now very well established the comparison of the age matched term born counterparts, children and adults who were born prematurely or the high risk of long term health complication affecting the various organ system. From the cardiovascular disease perspective, a large population based studies have been demonstrated and higher incidence of ischemic heart disease in the adults who were born premature, while the number of individual studies have found that increased prevalence of cardiometabolic risk factors in the children and young adults who were born premature. This can be controlled by taking the enough amount of breast milk, and the proper stage of the life will give this proper potential mechanism to reduce the cardiovascular risk in the human milk. So including all the high systolic and diastolic blood pressure will increase the incidence of hypertension, higher insulin resistance, lower glucose tolerance, and possibly high lipid profile and structural changes in the cardiovascular system, such as lower arterial and increased arterial wall thickness and changes in the size and shape of the cardiac chamber. Among these, the modest by significant increase in the blood pressure in premature born children and adults, most constant finding in the various cohort studies. So the potential of the mechanism can be reduced through these lactoferrin, stem cells, and immune inflammatory modulators, which is playing the vital role in fighting against the disease that could be possibly caused for the infants. So these factors will helps in the modulating the enzymes on the factor which could able to cause the disease for the infant, which is mainly reduces the systolic and diastolic pressure, reduces the infection that could develop in the immune modulators, immune responses, and majorly it will helps and fight against these enzymes to protect the infant from the long-term cardiovascular disease. So coming to the anti-inflammatory factor in the breast milk. Yes. So coming to this part, the breast milk is having and crossing these microbial factor, immunological factor, metabolic factor, which plays the very important role in antimicrobial factors. So these is the microbial, immunological, and metabolic factors in the breast milk with the effect on regulating the intestinal inflammation. So that is mainly caused through the immunological factor, that is mainly the secretory component, and toll-like receptor. So that is TLR4 that you can see in the picture. And coming to the omega-3 PUFA, that is polyunsaturated fatty acid. Because of these factor coming below the breast milk will help to fight against the infant in the microbial factors that is mainly protects the infants from the inflammation or any outside factor that could possibly cause for the infant. So by this mechanism, it helps in protecting the child from the microbial diseases. So coming to the study that proves how these nutrition content in the breast milk, bioactive contents, and the bacteria which has the effect on pre and post neonates. So how it is helpful? So the nutritions like carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, vitamins, minerals are highly effective in protecting, and bioactive components like immunoglobulins or peptides are having the high effect on pre and post neonatal, and bacteria are also helpful in the protection against the um, diseases that could possibly cause for the infant. On this picture, we can see the breastfeeding late and preterm infant in the result of lower fat mass and greater lean mass body deposition, and found that lean mass index increases up to the third month corrected age compared to the infants who have taken formula or mixed feed infants, comparing to the infants who have regularly taken the breast milk for the first 6 months of the life. And this is strongly supports that this breastfeeding is helpful in the low birth population. So the selective support for the beneficial microorganism acts on the prebiotics, acts on the metabolic substance and endothelial cell maturation, and lowers the diarrhea prevalence, lessens the intestinal colonization, and lowers the incident of allergies and asthma for the neonates. So this is the strong proof that it can fight against the low birth population through the nutrients, bioactives, and bacteria that is mainly present on the breast milk. So, how come this breast milk will protect the effect on the underweight infants? So that we need to understand through the maternal benefits and short-term infant benefits and long-term infant benefits. We have three different benefits through the breast milk. So coming to the maternal benefits, it reduces the breast and ovarian cancer risk if the mother is continuously feeding the baby for the first 6 months of the life, and it reduced Also, this continuous giving of breast milk will help in the mother to reduce the hypertension, type 2 diabetes mellitus risk, and psychological well-being will help both the mother and the child. Coming to the short-term infant benefit, in that it will reduces the risk of diarrhea, lower respiratory tract infection, and otitis media for the infant, and it also fight against the infection mainly caused for the infants, reduces the eczema incidence, reduces the sudden infant death. So all these can be beneficiary for the child who are underweight infants who is continuously taking this breast milk. Coming to the long term infant benefits, the positive effect is it will helps in the development of proper IQ, improvement in the social behavior, reduces type 2 diabetes mellitus, leukemia, and reduction in autism spectrum disorder, and protection against the obesity. So these are the long-term infant benefits for the kids who are taking breast milk. These are the protective effect for the infants and protective effect for the maternals. So coming to the maternal leukocyte transfers, that is MLT. So this is one of the most important topic, that is the breastfeeding provides the immunological programming. So this programming will formulate and set the components and the essential bacteria that is needed for the infant's intestine. So it provides this immunological programming for the newborns. So the body weight, age, lifestyle, diet, quality influences, and everything will influences the composition present in the breast milk. So the lipid spices, microbiota, and cytokines, and the accumulation of immune cell types, everything will be varied on the each and every mother. So the maternal antibiotics and non-inherent maternal antigens and maternal leukocytes travel through the stomach and intestine of the offspring. Also, these maternal immune and the stem cells invade to the newborns through the blood, leading to the maternals to generate these immune tolerance. And finally, the microbiota exosomes provide the immune tolerance by the T cells and accumulation of in the gut of the offsprings. So the high fat, carbs, proteins in the diets intake disrupts this microbiota. So the composition by promoting these bacteria to accumulate in the intestine of the infant, whereas the high fiber, carbs, and protein leads to the lactobacillus microbiota. However, the effect of diet during the breastfeeding on the immune response will have the tolerance, and offspring microbiota will establish and has not been fully determined in the humans. So these antigens and microbes will create these renders to fight against the transformation. So the diet and the maternal leukocytes transformation is mainly based on the dietary habit, lifestyle, and the maternal health is also having the composition of these development of the microbes in the infant's intestine. So coming to the role of thymus in the production of breast milk, and the role of thymus and how it is helpful in the distribution. So the description of breast milk component that may influence the fetal thymic development and output. Because of such interleukin 7 or RNA hormones or maternal T cells may act directly through the thymes and other such as breast milk microbes, human milk oligosaccharides may act on the gut microbiota and the metabolites for the development of these thymes in the infant. So coming to the bovine milk and in the infant formula. So how much difference we will see for the kids, for the infants who are taking this cow milk or other milk than the human milk or infant formulas. How much different we can see for these two different infants. So the infants who are taking the cow milk based infant formulas are most common substitute for the mother's milk, where it is not possibly given by the mother or in the insufficient impossible for any infant. So globally, it is accepted that the available source of these protein with high nutritional value. However, it is having high nutritional value. Also, these cow milk have the chance of causing the cow milk allergies. So this is the most prevalent type of the food allergy among the infants. So affecting upon the 3.8 percentage of the small children's. The hypoallergens in the infant formulas based on the hydrolyzed cow milks proteins are commercially available for the management of the cow milk allergies. Yet the prevention and management is there for the cow milk allergies. The milk from these mammalian sources than the cow, such as goat, sheep, camel, donkey, or horse, are received some attention in the last decades due to the different um, reactive with the cow milk proteins. So recently, the protein from the plant source, such as potato, lettuce, chickpeas, in addition to the soya and rice, have gained increased interest due to the climate friendly, and vegans will go and take this potential lower allergenicity. So the kids who have taken the human milk have the no chance of getting the cow milk allergies or any other allergies that could possibly transmit from the bovine's milk. So it is highly suggested that the infants who are taking regularly breast milk have the proper nourishment of the immune system, or the kids who are continuously taking the bovine milks or other milks like sheep milk or any other milk will have the high possibility of causing the allergies, and that may affect around half of the long-term causing diseases. So coming to the necrotizing enterocolitis, this is one of the intestinal disease that could possibly cause for the kids who are not taking proper breast milk. So this is one of the life-threatening illness that exclusively affect the neonates, with the mortality rate as high as 5%. So it is very important to concentrate in this condition, because this pathophysiology of the disease will cause the inflammation in the intestine that will lead to the bacterial invasion, causing the cellular damage and cellular death. So the necrosis of the colon and the intestine progresses, and this can lead to the intestinal proliferation and causes sepsis and even death. So it is very important to give the breast milk to avoid this necrotizing enterocolitis. So the signs and symptoms of this necrotizing enterocolitis are not specific. So it is very difficult to identify and may include the mainly for the kids who are not continuously taking breast milk. This will cause the vomiting, lethargy, and abdominal tenderness for the infant, and the activities examines the presentation, evolution, and management of necrotizing enterocolitis and stress that roles in the approach of caring the patient. So, how a breast milk is lost your brain development? How the development can be seen in the first months of the child development. So, the experience of breast milk contributes the healthy development of a child's brain. So, mother to child touch and nourishing interaction during the breast milk plays an important role in the child's sensory and emotional connect with the mother. So both these are very important for the cognitive and social development of the baby. So it can be clearly seen from the first month till the 48 month of the child's period, where the brain development will be exclusively high. So it is the very important period. The baby needs the proper nutrition. It is mainly and only can be given by the breast milk. So I conclude this talk with this breast milk, how it is safe, nutritious, accessible, and it is the best form of nutrition for the babies, especially for the first 6 months of the life. But it is more than the meal. The breast milk can help newborns fight off infection, often called as baby's first vaccine. So, breast milk also offers protection from many childhood illness, and it is mainly helpful in the development of the brain. And as mothers breastfeed, they share the elements of their immune system with their babies, leaving them with the less disease. Infants who breastfeed are less likely to develop the allergies. In environments with poor sanitation, unsafe drinking water, breastfeeding can only protect the children from the waterborne illness. As mother are promoting these breast milk as the best practice and providing the breast milk, mother will sustain the support, and it is considered for reducing the child's mortality for the for the preventable and treatable cause, like any kind of diseases that could possibly can come for the babies. So the babies who are taking breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months without any formula or having the very few amount of infection and illnesses or any intestinal problem for the infant. So breast milk after the birth also provides the emotional benefits for baby and the mother. It reduces the stress and it helps in the baby for the overall development. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Padmashri. That was really an insightful session for all the viewers and all the students and health seekers who are with us today. So the series of the speech included deep, in-depth explanation regarding the how the breast milk is being a very good immunization. The tagline of the first vaccine for the infant was really helpful for all of us. So it was really understandable that the immunization and breast milk have been an instrumental in shielding our children from any harm and also improve their growth and empowering them to thrive even more. So thank you so much for the wonderful talk. So hereby we are reaching the end of this World Breastfeeding Week Awareness Week 2024. So the WHO have released the webinar theme as closing the gap and support for all. So throughout these 7 days, we have provided enough breastfeeding awareness talks, starting with nutrition, the government schemes, the community help, the breast milk, the infant and maternal health issues addressing immunization. So feel free to watch our sessions, which will be saved under the playlist of Breastfeed Awareness Week in our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening. We stay tuned for more webinars and health talks. Thank you so much.